The deadly flooding in Texas has become a political hot potato for the White House. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr. Good morning, Alice. Thanks for the time.
Good morning, Cheryl.
Good to see you. We're hearing from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem defending her department's response here, as well as talking about the future of FEMA. These are tense conversations, even as this recovery continues right now. Will you talk more about the political implications here?
Yeah, and it's difficult to talk about the political implications because we are talking about such incredible devastation, tragedy, heartbreak in Central Texas. But there are also, there are demands for accountability and trying to understand what happened along the way. A lot of questions about why warnings didn't go out earlier than they did. A lot of those are local issues. There have been questions about how quickly warnings went out from the National Weather Service, how quickly those transferred into alerts that really went to the people that needed them. And Homeland Security is the agency that oversees FEMA, which of course is responding here. So Kristi Noem is defending, the Secretary of Homeland Security is defending the agency's overall response, and she's sharply refuting some claims that have been circulating that a policy requiring her sign off on contracts over $100,000 caused delays. She did confirm that that policy exists. This is part of the cost-saving efforts underway in FEMA, but she said it absolutely did not cause any delays. She was on the ground in Central Texas relatively quickly and pointing to that as proof of how quickly they were acting. And as for the future of FEMA, because President Trump has said he wants to see FEMA dismantled, she says it's not about dismantling, it's about reimagining. And she said the president recognized FEMA should not exist the way that it always did. It needs to be redeployed in a new way. She pointed to the Coast Guard and other federal resources that deployed to this disaster and said that's an example of how they want to sort of rework the way that FEMA responds and not have FEMA be the only one responding.
Interesting conversation to have, like you said, as the search even continues, as they're talking about FEMA and the need for that kind of response. So we'll keep following that one. Alice, I'm curious because today President Trump is meeting with the NATO Secretary General after promising to sell weapons to NATO allies in Europe to then share with Ukraine. What more do we know about the meeting, and is this part of a maybe change of heart with Ukraine?
So President Trump has been speaking a lot more forcefully about President Putin of Russia, and his growing frustration with Putin is to the benefit of Ukraine, because for a long time he was venting frustration over Ukraine's leader, President Zelensky there. But he has repeatedly said that, Putin talks nicely and they'd had a good relationship in the past, but he said he talks nicely during the day and then bombs and kills people at night. So he's clearly growing increasingly frustrated that he has not been able to persuade Putin to stop the attacks, to slow and to end this war that he promised to end really on day one of his presidency. So we know that he is open to offering more weapons. He said he's going to send sophisticated anti-missile weaponry to Ukraine. Not 100% clear if that is separate from what he's talking about of selling these weapons to NATO to then pass to Ukraine. What exactly are the sort of payment mechanisms involved here? But clearly, yes, he's open to sending more weapons there, and this meeting today will be part of that.
All right, Alice Barr in Washington. Thanks so much, Alice. Good to see you.